Hello, welcome to another edition of Rocket's Rambler Garage. We're kind of tired of scrubbing and cleaning parts like we've been doing for like the last 2 weekends. So we're going to take a little bit of time to do something that has just been bugging the crap out of us, and that is this battery tray area here that had a battery explode or something in it. It's made a pretty rusty mess out of it. So we're going to get the battery tray out of here, that wiring, fuel line, that sort of stuff, and go in and clean this. We're actually going to take the hood latch out of here so we can get a piece of sheet metal painted in the original white here so we can get it mixed. I checked with the auto body supply and they don't have a formula for it, so we're going to have to get a custom scan done to get some paint. We're going to do a similar thing where the master cylinder A set, it also looks pretty bad just from the brake fluid. In the process of it, just to make clearance a little bit better, I'm going to take the steering linkage out of down here. It has an added advantage by removing it. Besides getting a little more working and walking space in there, the engine can't go back from below with it in there because, well, that's where the engine has to come up through. So we have to take it out anyway. So it's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to get it up in the air, get the steering out of it, and then we're going to blow this apart, and then we're going to have to work on blowing the firewall apart so we can get back in there and do some painting.
Seems like I'll probably replate those.
Say what?
Might replate those.
Either one of us can hear each other.
Huh? What'd you say?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh.
I couldn't hear myself talking either.
Yeah. Take this one.
Okay. Oh, we still got the bumper bolts to do while we're here.
You want to go remove that upper washer or no? It's undercoated in place.
Looks good to me. We'll leave it there.
Alright.
We got to get the bumper bolts undone too, and I bet you they're 5/8.
They are.
There's 5/8. 5/8. Ear Pro again. Here's one bumper bolt. One uncapped there. Falls out when you don't try. Didn't hear the big crash in the background. He managed to trip over the creeper on his way around the corner and knock that over too. Now you want to watch Scope Creep in action. He's headed over to replate the bolt. Here's a fun one. I haven't used the 3/8. It looks like brand new. Gotta take that out of both sides because we're gonna drop the tins and redo the tins too. Okay, I gotta move this. And we gotta come down some. Of course, before I do, I better sweep up the new collection of muck off the floor too. Since I'll be down in it on the floor. All right. We're gonna have to get you in there. Who? You gonna hand me toys? I mean tools? You do? Man, how about you, that's an interesting.
What do you want?
What do I want? Yeah, winning lottery numbers would be absolutely fantastic. There we go. I don't know how I'm gonna get these. That grommet is so hard, both sides, and it's too small to get the. Give me a flat blade screwdriver, one of my smaller ones, but the long handled one. Well, it came out all right.
In half.
Well, it didn't take much to break it, so give me the side cutters back. Watch this.
Chunk. Was about shattered.
Well, yeah, I got to do the same thing to the other side, and then wish me luck.
Why was the 3/8 where the 9/16 was supposed to go?
Are you ready for this?
Just don't break the bit. Very difficult.
Yeah. I shot these with penetrating oil last night. Benjamin, under. Ooh.
You do.
Springy. Ah, there we go. Under. Under. All right. Now we're going to take the bolts out.
Do you not see my hand right here?
Nope. Can't see nothing. Oh, give me a 1/4 inch nut driver, would you?
5 things at a time, not 6.
Some people are testy touchy, aren't they?
Over.
Under.
Oh.
Um,
Kita?
Not yet. I need to get that suspension bushing. I need to get that off so I can get the washer. So I need, that's usually 7/8. Ooh. No, there it goes. So the idea is I'm gonna clean all this, a lot of this rust off of here as best I can. Then I gotta get in here and sand this as well. And then we're gonna have to prep this a little more and put some epoxy in here. Gonna make it?
Yeah, well, but here's the other thing. Give me enough time to run out of here before you go nuts.
Twisted stainless steel.
Go.
Yeah.
Well, that thing does some damage in a hurry.
All right. My hand's all cramped up from hand sanding and running power tools that I haven't run quite this much in quite a while. But we got things pretty nicely cleaned up. There's not a lot of damage, fortunately. As ugly as it was, none of the rust was particularly deep. So, with that done, I'm going to move our focus to the back. We'll get Mayhem to pan over here to the master cylinder area. Now this one's going to be some serious fun to try to do much with. But we've also determined we need to pull this blower housing off of here because the foam inside is pretty much turned to dust and is gone. And so the heater core is just kind of flopping and rattling inside. So it's held on by a series of Phillips head screws around the perimeter. So that's going to be next, is to go attack that and see what we can do to clean the mess up around the master cylinder and see if we can do any painting back there and not have it show a ton.
Yeah, but 7/16 was too small, a 1/2 inch was too big, and 11 mil just goes on like a glove.
Okay, so I need a Phillips.
What size?
Number 2.
You're gonna find us a mousy nest?
Possible. Ooh, I got lucky it pulled out. Okay.
Craftsman. Japan.
Okay. Passenger side. Still a little coolant in it. Actually, come up the front. There's still a little coolant in it.
Got it.
So there's a capillary tube that's tied. Oh, there's the screw I lost.
Pull the AC hose down a little.
No, not really. So there's a capillary tube for the heater control valve that's stuffed down at the base of that red hose. So we gotta figured on changing that valve out because there's a seal in there that if it blows at the wrong time, you'll have a flash flood of coolant on your floor and rather rapid loss of coolant resulting in engine overheating.
And probably a very rapid burn on your leg.
They don't spray usually.
Usually.
Then up behind this cover is where you get to the heater hose, or to the wiper motor, I should say. And so, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. There you have it. Now I gotta get busy.
A tiny walkway.
I need to go pull
From
4 screws out inside.
You want
I
me
can't
to?
get up in here. Now I'll go lay in there.
Okay.
You can hand me tools. I have a feeling we're gonna have to get the sandblaster out and do a little
Blasting.
blasting. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Rocket's Rambler Garage. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You have no idea what we're up to. And we don't totally know what we're up to either.
5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, that. We've used the trusty Sears here to back the car trailer in under the lift. and the vehicle. And the intent here is we're going to lower this down onto the trailer, onto blocks. We're going to strap it down, and then we're going to take it on a very long trip, just outside the door actually. And we're going to do a little bit of sandblasting just to touch up some places I can't get the wire brush into up in the engine bay, in prep to put some paint down in the battery tray area and the power, or not power, but the master cylinder area. In particular, there's a couple of little nooks and crannies I can't get into very well. So that's what we're up to. Never quite done things this way before. I have scrapped out a car before, and we just picked the car up by its roof with the doors gone and set it down on the trailer. And that way we could retract the lift arms. This time we have to keep the lift arms up high enough to not crush the tops of the fenders on the trailer. So it's going to be interesting. We got to block it up and tie it down. So anyway, without further ado, that's next, and then we'll pull this outside and get ready and do some blasting. All right, we're masked up, lashed down, so we shouldn't fall off this. So we're ready to go outside and make dust. All right,
Up and away.
now one can go crazy and buy pins or the special tape they sell for this. So see, you fold an edge back and you get a line like that. That won't leave a hard tape line. It lets some paint blow under. Grab some of our masking paper that we saved. Okay, so I got things in primer and I've guide coated it, and it's been heating for a while because it hadn't quite cured yet. So we're going to get busy and sand this out. Now the purpose of guide coat, for those not familiar, if you got a spot where you can see the speckling left by the black paint on the gray, you didn't fill or pits up enough. So this will help show what we've sanded and gotten the rust pitting filled in and spots we haven't. Well, good morning. Yes, it's morning. Got this primered yesterday and guide coated it last night so it'd be nice and dry. Then we spent a little time doing some lawn mowing and toilet swapping and that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna get busy this morning. I'm gonna sand this with some 220 grit, and then I will probably guide coat it again and switch over and do it with some 320, and then this is ready for paint. So we'll have to strip all this masking paper and everything out of here and kind of clean everything and remask it out wider and get it ready for paint. The idea here is to just knock the guide coat off, hopefully not have to sand deep enough to go through anything. Again, just black lacquer from the auto parts store. Let that dry. It's lacquer, so it dries pretty fast. We'll sand that out with some 320. You can see the factory spot welds in here. Not even going to try to make those look pretty because everybody just expects to see them. And then we'll be ready to mask this off for final paint. Alright, now that the guide coat's dry, I'm just gonna attack it with a batch of 320. Take the same sand pads as before. Go to it. All right, so we got things masked off and ready to paint, but rather than do any of that, we're gonna let stuff collect dust a little bit and do that on another day. So, in part because kind of hoping to get the epoxy primer out and do a whole bunch of stuff at once. Anyway, this come in a couple days ago. Haven't even opened it yet, which is kind of sad. Summit Racing Equipment is the supplier of this box of goodies, and they don't actually sponsor us, at least not yet. But I will say this, they are an awesome auto parts outfit, store if you want to call it that, online. Most stuff ships within a couple days. And quite frankly, if they don't have it or can't get it, you probably aren't going to get it anywhere. Because there are things I found on their website, like water pump bearings, that even the local bearing supplier looked at me like, what? So anyway, I'm going to open this up and get our goodies out. I'm looking for one thing in particular because yeah, more bubble bags to use the top too. And you know what?
What, you sure want to pop all these?
Yeah, maybe. What all did we get? Oh, there's your rotor. A set of spark plugs, the tubing nuts I need to finish up the brake line for the master cylinder, electronic ignition that fell out of the box.
It actually.
Yes. I picked up the box and it was open on the bottom, out everything cascaded.
Igniter 2.
That's the only thing you can get for this distributor. It's a very small cap. Remember, this is Prestolite, not Delco.
I thought you said you could find one that was basically a Igniter 3
No, best you
from
can.
standard.
Nope. They have basically the Igniter 2, just like this is. This is basically the same thing as Igniter 2.
There's your little magnetic ring.
It's built in here. See, they've cast magnets. There's 8 magnets cast around there. And this mounts someplace upside down in the dizzy to, or this way, one of the two, and picks everything up. So, guess what? The one thing I was hoping would be in here, the idler arm bushing, isn't in here. I did get that connected. So, but I need those. That'll let me finish the whatchamahanger. There is a, oh no, these are the ones I need for that. What do those look like?
And these have 90s on the end, so they're wrong.
Guess what? They'll be too long and we'll make them work anyway. What is this? The distributor cap is rolling around in the box. Okay, so guess what? No idler arm bushing. Dang it.
Guess what? Spark plugs. Oh, they also changed their box again.
Master Carton, huh? Huh.
This is 437.
Yeah, they're all like 437s. They're what I ordered.
What's this?
Rotor. I bought a new rotor for that distributor cap.
Yeah, I like how this one's actually got a counterweight on the end. As
Yeah.
weird as that brass chunk look like it's in crooked. It is a tiny bit this way.
Yeah, maybe. You know the good part is?
Won't matter.
It doesn't matter. Because once you set the timing is timing. As long as it isn't moving like a pendulum, you're alright.
Yeah.
And I got their igniter coil. You know, we can get busy. Oh, you haven't cleaned the bracket for that yet, have you?
Where is it?
It's over there in our bag of goodies. We can do that, and you can we always take the decals off these. Sorry, Pertronics, we're not much interested in your nice decal you put on there to advertise yourself. So we go stealthy and remove the decal off of things.
Here's what I love. I have to take this nut and stuff out so I can get to this screw.
And you got to take the bolt out. So they were
What I
nice.
said.
They got a decal on here. You get to remove. Boy, that coil weighs.
See how easy it is to remove?
Feel this though. This thing has a bracket on it, and that weighs more than this does with a bracket. That one has a bracket and weighs less than the other one does without it.
Alright, let's see that.
He doesn't trust me, so he's going to take it over to the scale and prove it to himself.
26.52 ounces.
26 ounces? Now what's the other one?
31.92.
You're trying to tell me I'm that far off 5 ounces?
Come over here if you don't believe me.
Why would I believe you? You're just a
I mean, the
kid.
proof's right here.
I know, I heard you. All right.
Here, take this back.
Well, you're going to change it out. Oh. Captain, come here.
I'm right behind you.
Look at me. See the positive here?
Yeah.
Hold on, take that off a second. So, when this is in, that's horizontal. So I want the terminals, see how they're lined up? And see how the positive's over here on the left with respect to the bracket?
It's
See that?
Positive on top.
No, these are in line, but the positive needs to be on the left with respect to the mounting tab on the right.
Alright, man.
How in the world did somebody bend that?
Ben, what?
Some ham fist has bent the damn mounting bracket.
That ham fist be you?
No, it was not me. Okay.
Oh, see, I'm gonna use the correct tools. No.
Well, only thing I can see is you could use a little different bench vise than the drawer in my toolbox.
What, you want to go finish restoring mine?
Restoring.
A 111-year-old bench vise?
No, it's not that. It's bench.
Yeah, this is
We got
bench.
every horizontal surface in a shop always accumulates crap to the point where you can no longer do anything on the bench.
Yeah. This is how much stuff we have here. Here's an NOS radiator cap for 65.6s and whatnot. Ashtray door. 2022 tab we never used. That should give a hint as to one of our cars. It's a 68, by the way, and Christmas tree. About on par for Charlie Brown.
So this poor idler arm bushing is shot, and I was kind of hoping the new one was going to be in the box so we could swap these out, and when we media blast this to paint it, we would be able to do that. But of course, no, we didn't get the new one. Boy, that rubber is almost as hard as the metal.
A fudge biscuit's going on here. 7/16, that fits over it. Get out your 7/16 socket.
Let me see my... Oh, this is the bad socket.
Well, then why is it in there?
Well, that would... No. No. Let me... My sockets get used as devices in the hydraulic press for pushing things apart, and occasionally the ends get squashed a little, and then they don't fit quite right anymore. I think that's what happened to this one. Sheesh. The last person here, namely me, left a mess. Everything here gets run. And I don't exactly have a person that comes around and cleans. I'm not stocked up with a bunch of elves to do cleaning for me. So first thing I gotta do, I gotta go cut a piece of pipe because I can't stick a piece of pipe in here. It won't go through the back end. So what do I do with the piece of pipe I bought? I have to go find it. Alright. Got my piece cut. Not supposed to stick 20 miles of something out and be cutting out at the end of a 12-inch piece of pipe, so. Alright, so next thing we gotta do, change cutters. I gotta go bore the inside of this out. The tube I had to get is not an exact size, which is fine. That doesn't bother me any. There's quite a seam bump inside here. It's gonna thump pretty good when I go around. that off in shallow pieces. Mayhem's been going to town replating a bunch of the bolts for this car.
Yeah. Here's one of them. That one actually looks...
Dang. Got passivated yet, or just...
Yeah. This is finished. It is ready to be back in the car.
Yikes.
Do this, I can actually... Yeah.
So I gotta take out another 50 thou out of that.
Yeah. I only really bother to polish up the head and the end and a little bit of thread just because you're not going to see the shank. But even the shank, even as matte as it is, looks drop dead gorgeous. Scary.
Yeah, it is. Interesting to know who F is.
It's a grade 5 bolt.
Yep.
And I plate these to withstand being in the Pacific for a century and still being okay.
I didn't know better. I'd say that carbide cutter's been chipped too. Tie it up, don't lose it. All right. Well, with that, we have us a modified, so it will actually work, thermostat housing. What happens is if you run the full 13 pounds of pressure on the radiator cap without a bump, it blows. You got to have the clamp tight, and as the rubber relaxes, it lets the clamp get slack, and without a bump, it's a straight shot to push it off. So with this, now you don't have to have the clamp as tight. As it is, you wind up tightening the clamp up every month or so for a while till they finally get to where the rubber quits compressing and relaxing some. But this will leave a bump to where we can put a clamp on, and it has to expand about 40 thousandths of an inch. About double the wall thickness here. That's actually 100 thou wall almost, about 90 thou. So that hose the clamp has to let it stretch 3/16 of an inch roughly before it will come off of here. So bottom line, it's not happening. That hose has to be able to come out about 3/16 of an inch to be able to get over that bump.
So there was for the bump on the damn thing originally?
Yeah, grab the old one.
Yeah, it really wasn't much.
It isn't much, but believe it or not,
Doesn't have
that's 90 thousandths of an inch. That's 1/815, and that's about 805.
92 and a half.
All right, we're gonna wrap up this week's edition with a checking off of stuff that we've gotten done. So we have degreased the transmission. I'm gonna order probably some new mounts. These transmission mounts are pretty knackered up. They've been soaking up oil for years and are pretty mushy. I could limp by on them, but we'll probably order some new ones. They are shown as being available, surprisingly. Throwout bearing, we got everything apart, and so we just need to order a new bearing and press it on that sleeve, and that's ready to go. The CV joint actually isn't even a CV joint. The universal that's in it, though, has been replaced at some point in its life, so I'm going to cross that off. We will grease it, and we're probably going to change out the grease fitting on it because they put one in the bearing cap sticking straight out, and it's been spinning around like a lawnmower blade, chewing things up inside the trunnion. So we'll do something better with that, probably put a plug in it or a different grease fitting. We have our fuel pump diaphragm, so one of our upcoming videos I'm going to go through. I've never rebuilt a fuel pump before, so going to be kind of interesting. See what I run into doing that. I'll leave it at that. All this stuff down here, strut rod sway bar bushings are made and ready to go. Shocks are all ready to go. Brakes are all ready to go. Lines are ready to go. The idler arm The part is on order for that, and once it arrives, I've got to get busy and cut and press the old one apart, and then we're ready to press the new one in. I think that's due to show up in a week or two, and we don't need it for a little bit yet because none of that goes back in until the powertrain is all back in. Then we can put the steering linkage in. So, and all this being done by mid-May, we're getting a lot of stuff marked off. This right here, even though it's under the done by mid-May, gas tank, if we don't get this done, and we don't need it done till probably mid-early June, but we will actually bring a 1961 Rambler in here that we have, and we'll steal the fuel tank out of that since they're the same tank basically. So that's our plan B for this, is we're going to steal a tank from another car. We're going to do kind of the same thing when it comes to wheels and tires over here. So we've been doing a lot of extra cleaning and painting and all that sort of stuff just because we've got a backup plan. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. Say thank you for watching. We appreciate you watching and leaving us comments. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. There's also a number of people have commented to me they don't get an email. There's a separate little link there. You put a checkbox in that sends you an email when a new video comes out. So if you want emails, be sure to check that box. Just subscribing won't get you an email.
Dad, it's the bell. You have to click on the bell icon.
Ah, Mayhem says click on the bell icon. All right. You can tell how often I do this. I fix cars. Technology I let him worry about. Anyway, thanks for watching.